Hey, what's up, guys? So here is your video that I promised. It is a tutorial on how to use Google Drawings if you've never used it before, right? So I don't have that much experience with it, but hopefully we'll learn how to get through this together. So I'm doing the medieval castle activity set, right? So I've already worked on the video practice. I answered the 3 questions. Then I went and I did the article practice. So I read the article, I read the 6 questions that come along with that. And now it's time to do the design challenge, right? So I am giving you guys 2 days to do this. So one way that you could have broken it down, maybe you just do the video and the article one day and then work on the design challenge the next day, or you want to do it all on the same day. It's really up to you, right? So just know that you have today, Thursday, to work on this, and all day tomorrow, Tuesday, and it is due Tuesday night. So you gotta time yourself however you need for that. So for this design challenge, I read all the instructions, right? I see here that I have to create a castle. I know all the features that I need to include. I looked at the bailey, the castle walls, the drawbridge, the kitchens, the stables. I'm all set. I know what I need to do. So now it's time for me to use Google Drawings to create my own blueprint. So I see this blueprint here as an example. Feel free to look up any other castles. You have the power of Google at your fingertips. So maybe even before you start, you want to look at other castle blueprints or just general pictures of castles. There's castles all over the world. There's a ton. So you can look at those to inspire you. But then once you're ready, here's what we'll do. We'll go up to the top where the tabs are. We're going to click on the plus sign to open up a new window. And once we've opened up that window in the address bar, I'm just going to type drawings.google.com. And it'll usually just come up for you also. So once you're at drawings at Google, right? So this is what it basically looks like. We have a blank template here. And before I begin doing anything else, I'm going to give this a title. So over here where it says Untitled, I'm going to name my castle whatever I want. And you got to think of an epic castle title of your own. I'm not feeling that creative, so I'm just going to title it Lee's Castle. Okay. So once I give it a title, now we can get started. And I'm just going to show you guys how to do this, where all the main things are. Obviously, you're probably going to be better at this than I am. But I'm going to begin by using some shapes, right? That makes sense. It's a blueprint. So I'm going to go to Insert, and I'll go to Shape, and then Shapes again. And it's going to give us this whole little dashboard here of different shapes. And I'm going to begin with a rectangle. So I'm going to start with a very basic shape, and I'm going to make a big rectangle going across. So you just click and you drag across. And this is going to be the outside of my castle, right? So I'm going to make it big. And if you want to resize it, if you weren't happy or you accidentally unclicked on it, you could always go to the corners and you can make it a little smaller, a little bigger, change the shape a little bit. That's how you'll do it with basically every shape, right? So these are going to be my castle walls. And before I move on, I want to also show you how to type into this, because you want to be able to label everything that you do. So let's say these are my castle walls and now I want to label this. I would go back to Insert, and this time instead of shape, I'll go to text box. The text box it's going to work the same as shapes. I'm just going to pick a spot where I want to write it, and then I'll just click and drag, make it the size that I want. Once I have the size that I want and the spot that I want it in, now I can click into the box, and now I can actually type. So I'll go ahead and label this castle walls inside of my text box. So you're going to want to do this for every feature that you have. You don't have to do it as you go the way I do. Like maybe the text boxes will get in the way. So you can actually just, make all your shapes and designs first and then label everything at the end. It's up to you. But just make sure you label it. The way I'm grading this is to make sure that you do have all the features. So I want to see the castle wall. I want to see the drawbridge. I want to see the bailey. I want to see the Great Hall, all those different features. So you can label that as you go or at the end. So let's try a different shape now so we could do something. I want to work on the corners of my castle a little bit. So I'm going to go back to insert and I'm going to pick a different shape this time. All right, so we go to insert shapes and I'm going to go with these little like half triangle things. And I'm going to choose it and then I'm going to kind of work on my corners here a little bit. So as I work on this, I'll just give you some more information. Right? You can pick whatever shapes work best for you. I would assume that a lot of it is going to be squares, rectangles, circles, triangles, whatever. And you can be as creative as you want. You can make your castle massive with a whole bunch of intricate designs, or you can make it very basic with just rectangles inside of rectangles inside of rectangles. Whatever you need to do to get the grade that you want. All right, so I'm gonna work on the little corners here, and I'm gonna just think ahead. Like, what do I want to do? Where do I want to put my main gate? Where do I want to put my keep, which is like the big tower? And something that I was thinking ahead, I haven't actually done it yet, but something we could do is always go onto Google Images and maybe find images of. So let's say I make a stable, and I could maybe find little like cartoon images of horses, and I could put that into my blueprint. Like, why not? You know, the more creative you are, the better your grade will be. As long as you meet all the basic requirements and you have a blueprint and you have it labeled and you have all the features that you need, that's great. You'll get a good grade. But then if you can get even more creative, and most of you guys are way more creative than I am, so I'm sure this won't be an issue for you. All right, so I did work on one blueprint a little bit ahead of time before I got started. So this is just kind of like as you do it. Yeah, I wanted you to watch me make some basic shapes. But then over here, I have another blueprint that I actually already kind of started, and you can see how I did this. It only took me like maybe 3, 4, 5 minutes to do this. So if I wanted to dedicate more time to this, I'm sure I could come up with all sorts of different things. But you can see I have a variety of different shapes here. I have a bunch of different things that are already labeled. I have my castle walls, obviously. I have my stables. I have my keep. I have a gate, drawbridge, all that stuff. Right, and then you can just keep building and building. If you feel that the main page where you're doing this is not big enough, you could actually always make it bigger by going to page layout. But if you have any questions or any issues working on Google Drawings, then feel free to give me an email, send me an email, and then you or leave me a comment, whatever you need. I do encourage you to use Google Drawings. I'm sure some of you guys are going to think like, Mr. Lee, I can make a better blueprint doing this other app. I encourage you to use Google Drawings because it is something that you will be using a lot more in the future. On an 8th grade and 9th grade, Google Drawings is something that we're going to be coming back to a lot. So hopefully this tutorial helped you out a little bit. It's meant to get you started. Hopefully you guys are a lot more creative and better at this than I am. But I hope you found this helpful. So I'll see you guys later on.